Dina Kimball's joining us. Dina Kimmel, like Jimmy Kimmel.
Like Jimmy Kimmel.
Do you know Jimmy?
I always say my husband's more famous. I make the joke.
Is he?
We'll get stopped by the police.
Funnier?
He's funny. He's in the entertainment business also, but it's just really funny. We'll get stopped by the police and they'll go, you related to Jimmy Kimmel? No. Are you sure? They let us off.
Yes, they get off. That's awesome. You and I have something in common.
We do. I just found out.
What do we have in common?
Well, I have a son with autism. And
so and maybe it's me and I have to go through this. I always thought my son had superpowers. Okay, and I still do.
So does mine.
Right?
Absolutely.
So when we say the spectrum, can you explain what that means?
Well, we Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym, and why I named my business that is because the spectrum there's spectrum gyms out there. That's the spectrum from not healthy to healthy. The spectrum of children is there could be children who are just a little bit delayed, socially awkward, to the children who are nonverbal, who will never speak. Children with cerebral palsy, children with Down syndrome. So that's the spectrum of children. My son was over here.
No one can see that.
I mean, okay. Well, my son was, say, a Z, and now he's a C, and that is what intervention does.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's now considered high functioning.
High functioning, yeah.
Like we were talking about, the little geniuses, and that's the beauty of autism.
And we have to understand that a lot of great world leaders probably, if there was a test, they would have been seen as being on the spectrum also.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So look at Mozart. I mean, come on, look at Einstein.
Reagan.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, these are people.
Sorry.
Certain ones are obvious, yes. Right? But when we look at this, the spectrum means that, hey, at least we know where you're at so we can get you to the other side.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And you saw this and don't take this wrong, as an opportunity.
No.
Right? You saw this as an opportunity, didn't you?
No, when I started this, I started out of survival for my son. I created my gym, We Rock the Spectrum, in my home just so my son would sleep at night. My son was so severe that he couldn't sleep. He wouldn't socialize with any kids. And per his OT therapist, because we had these big beams in my bedroom, she said, you know what? Put some of these occupational therapy equipment in here and let's see if this will do some changing. It did more than changing. It changed not only my son's life, it changed our lives. He didn't sleep for the first 4 years of his life. So it was pretty intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a gladiator. You are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That takes a lot. Because the love of a parent, you're going to do whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I did.
And you saw this as something that, hey, this worked for me. This works for my son. Why not now take it to the next level, right?
That's exactly what happened. What it also did, though, was it worked for my daughter. So my daughter is neurotypical. She's typically developing. And her and Gabriel never had a connection until this equipment came into our home. And then all of a sudden, they started playing together. Then all of a sudden, Gabriel started getting eye contact. He started talking.
Wow.
I mean, it was unbelievable. Then all the kids wanted to be in my bedroom playing on all the swings. And I said to my husband, I've been in clothing my whole life for 20 years. I said, but you know what? If this works for our family, there's got to be other families out there like us. So that's how We Rock then first started in Tarzana.
How does people find out more about this? Where do they go?
At werockthespectrum.com.
Yeah. It's a big URL, isn't it? But it says exactly what it is.
No, I changed it. We got it smaller now to carry over. werockthespectrum.com.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
So if you go there, you can find everything out that you want. Now, is this only for kids that are on the spectrum?
No, that's what I'm saying. That was my idea, all inclusion. My son has never been in a special needs program. Even when he was diagnosed young, moderate to severe, my whole idea is, look, monkey see, monkey do. Okay, if I put my son in a room of only special needs children, well, that's all he's going to know.
That's exactly right.
So I put him in an environment where typically developing kids and kids on the spectrum together can be. Well, guess what?
I love this.
25 locations now.
You are the average of the people you hang out with. Now, think about that. So if you are allowing him to hang out, and he is hanging out with normal people, he becomes atypical then, right?
That's exactly right.
And that's what's happening. And you have 25 locations? 25
locations.
Tell us about the locations.
It's funny. I sit here and I feel like I'm living a dream because when I first got into this, it was just to create a space where my husband and I could save $150 an hour because that's what it costs for OT. As you know, occupational therapy is $150 a pop. And Gabriel needed it not one time a week, not 3 times a week. He needed it every single day. That's how heightened his senses were. I mean, it was constantly the hands over his ears. So I said to my husband, if we can save money, let's just open up one for us. If other kids come in and play, great. Little did I know, 3 weeks after, we were just swamped.
Where was the first location?
Tarzana.
Tarzana.
That's our flagship gym.
And where are they all based right now? Still, Southern California primarily?
No, 6 different states. We're nationwide.
That's amazing.
Now going worldwide in 2 months. So
Okay,
we're really excited.
you really have seen how this affects a family in a positive way.
Unbelievable.
It's necessary. Do you have to have some type of accreditation or anything to be approved that you're working with kids that are on the spectrum?
Doing what I do, no, actually. Being a franchisor myself, do I have things that I look for in my owners? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. You don't have to be a parent of a special needs child or a special needs parent, as I call it, because yes, I'm right there with my son going through this. But you do have to have the compassion and the purpose, understand the purpose of our mission.
We
Absolutely.
rock the spectrum.com. .com. That's where you go right now. And tell us, franchise-wise, if somebody wants to look into this, just go to the website and learn more?
Go to the website, or you can go to our actual franchise site, which is WRTSfranchise.com.
No, it's interesting. Franchises, when people think of franchises, they might think of a Subway or a McDonald's or a Hampton Hotel.
Exactly.
You went the franchise route. Why?
Because so many people, well, first of all, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay. I own clothing stores for 20 years. Yeah. Yay! So after 20 years of owning clothing stores, I had a special needs child. I sold them. I mean, my life changed. It was all about my son. So I started We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym, and listen, the entrepreneurial side, a month later, someone comes in and says, I love your idea. I actually sell franchises. Can I take your idea and take it to the Franchise Expo? And I went, franchise? We just opened a month ago here.
It was that fast?
It was that fast.
That's mind-blowing.
So I literally called a trademark attorney the next day and said, can you do a check for me? You pay the man $1,000. He runs a check. No, there is nothing else like this. An indoor sensory gym for all kids. There's nothing like it. I said, well, here's the money. Let's trademark the idea. And I sat with it for 3 years, and I created my business model to make sure that this was something I could hand over to another person and they can make money also. But unlike the other franchises, like you said, we're not cookie cutters. So we have our business plan. Then after that, we encourage owners to make it their own.
Joining me in the studio, she's in bright red because that is her. Well, you understand clothing. You understand what sticks out on clothing too. Okay, and by the way, that's a really good color for kids.
Yes,
do you know
that's
that?
exactly. Of course I do.
Jimmy Kimmel's not her husband nor brother, but she shares the last name. Dina, you're based in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Are you always from LA?
No, actually, I grew up in Lake Tahoe.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you moved here?
I did.
Wouldn't you want to stay there?
Yeah, I would. But, this is where my husband makes a living.
Do you have a franchise there?
Not yet. Well, we have one in Berkeley, near San Francisco.
So, no, it's still a 3-hour ride.
We're getting there.
So you're very selective on who gets a franchise, right?
I have to be.
Why do you have to be?
Well, what we do, when people call us and they go, oh, we're worried about you being a corporate business, quote unquote. Well, you're looking at corporate. Yes, I have 4 other young women who work with me, but I take this very seriously. I take my brand, my trademark very seriously. If a gym isn't catering to special needs children and typical children, well, they're out. That's my brand. So I have to make sure that the people who come and are interested and want to learn about We Rock the Spectrum are about the purpose and the mission. Because if not, yeah, you'll make money, but
No, I'm going to actually specify something that's very important. You and I, off the mics, we were talking about specifically the franchise. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if somebody is passionate the way you are, they can make a difference. Okay, it's an affordable difference and make money at the same time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you actually made it so it's something people could afford to make a difference in their community.
Absolutely.
Okay?
That's
and I'm not trying to give too much away, but I'm saying
you're right. It's an affordable franchise. Yes.
It is. And they need to look in this because let me give you an example. If you want a McDonald's, that's about $1 million just starting. Even a Subway is going to cost you about $300,000 to $600,000. You are a fraction of that, and you can make a difference in your community. So congratulations. I have to applaud you on this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm very humble about this. Did I have a killer year last year? Yes, it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Listen, we sold over 20 franchises doing what I love. People ask me all the time, how do you juggle so many things on your plate? It's not hard. When you're working your purpose, when you're doing what you believe in and what you love, it just is easy.
This is your second business?
That I've owned before? Yeah. Yes, I owned clothing stores for almost 20 years.
How many clothing stores did you get up to?
Just 2. I had two very successful clothing stores. I sold them the moment my son was diagnosed. That was it. I knew that he needed me.
Was that difficult to do, by the way, when you said, how I got to sell this and I have to? No?
Strictly the lioness, mother instinct kicks in. Gabriel needs me. I'm on. That's it.
That's great.
Didn't even think twice about it, to
So
be honest.
when it came time to say, hey, maybe I should turn this into a real business, what did you learn from the clothing side that you applied to your new business?
Well, if you ask my husband, he'll say that you're crazy. I'm crazy.
Yeah, but I think every entrepreneur is.
It's a gut. It's a gut feeling. It's a gut feeling that, this is going to work. And when I had so many families reaching out to me saying, oh, will you open one in Orange County? Oh, will you open one in Tennessee? I couldn't ignore that because I saw what it did for my family and the community of Tarzana in LA.
Makes sense.
So I had no choice. For me, there was no choice. I said to my husband, we've got to do this.
We rock the spectrum, kids. Jim, Dina, can I ask you a series of questions in 60 seconds? You prepared for this?
You got it.
You ready?
You got it.
I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Whatever comes to your mind, just say it right away, okay?
Sure.
60 seconds. Let's get going right now. Do you follow your head or your heart?
My heart.
Yeah. What was the last costume you wore?
Oh, no. Last costume I wore, Big Bird.
What's your favorite animal?
Dogs.
TV show, Games of Thrones or Entourage?
My husband's show is Game of Thrones,
Game of
I have
Thrones?
to say Game of Thrones.
What would you say is a unique habit or ritual that you do every day?
We do everything in threes in my family.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Protein, always protein.
How many hours of sleep do you need a night?
5.
5. Scale 1 to 10. How weird are you?
I think to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a 10, but my husband will tell you I'm a 12.
What gets you excited that gets you out of bed every day?
My children, the love for my children and all children now.
Yeah. What one word describes you?
Brave.
Brave. I like that a lot. You said dog's your favorite animal? Mm-hmm. Give me 3 adjectives that describe a dog.
Let's see. I first got into dogs because of my son having special needs.
But it's your favorite animal.
It's my favorite animal
So
as well.
describe 3 adjectives.
They're kind, loving.
Kind, loving,
and active.
Now, and I bring this up with every guest that comes in here. Mm-hmm. Generally, we associate ourselves with our favorite animal, and we describe ourselves by
Kind, loving, and active. Wow,
right?
That's a good one.
Right?
Yes.
That's you.
Yeah, that is me, I guess.
And it's refreshing, isn't it?
It is.
It's like, wow,
It
I
is.
really am that. Thank God you're like a worm, right? Slithering and asexual.
You set me up almost for that one.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just nice to be in that direction.
Yes.
So as you see your business growing, where do you see it growing? Like, what will it be 3 years from now? What do you see it as?
Oh, we're going to be worldwide. I mean, it's, yeah.
Well, it sounds like that's about to happen right
Yeah,
now,
it
globally.
is.
And you're
It is.
looking at, you were just saying UK?
In the UK.
It's a very interesting, Asia market at all?
Yes, they've reached out to us. Absolutely.
See, I think Singapore and China and all these areas, Indonesia,
Indonesia has reached out to us. Dubai, Kuwait, everywhere, really.
So do you become the face of all this? Are you the one that, you're going to have the big conferences, you're the one on stage, you're the one that's showing, you know what I mean?
Are you ready for this?
I would love to hear it.
Public speaking and showing my face, no, that's not me and who I am.
You are actually quite good at it. Right now.
Well, I do it. I do it because I put my purpose first. And so if that means me sitting here with my face in front of you explaining We Rock because I'm the best person for the job, then yes, I'll do it.
What entrepreneur out there do you associate with, you get excited about? Anyone, famous entrepreneur?
My father.
Your dad? Mm-hmm. See, well, you don't know about your father. Why is your father somebody that gets you excited when it comes to entrepreneurship?
He's about passion. He's about drive. He is about honesty. And he came from nothing and has now created himself an empire in what he does.
So as you look at this is your father, right? Your father. Is your father still around?
Yes.
Giving you
he is.
advice?
Yes.
Yeah? Get you excited, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, and what are you doing that's different than what your father did? Anything? Are you following exactly in your footsteps?
I'm following exactly what he does, but in a much larger scale, as he tells me.
That's pretty amazing.
A much larger scale. Yeah.
What gets you as you move forward and grow? Is there any roadblocks that you see in front of you that you're nervous about or apprehensive about moving forward?
Absolutely not.
Really?
I'm never nervous about that. Nope.
Because you have to plan. Like, for example, let's just say, I think this year, 2006 or 15, is going to be the year of abundance. Okay?
I agree.
I think 2016 is going to be a tough year. Okay? I think everything is going to collapse. And the reason why is because I think we're at the hype. We're peaking. Okay?
Oh, I agree.
So as you see this peak, how do you anticipate and prepare for a possible, almost let's call it like a meltdown 2008 or 19 or 2000? How do you prepare for that?
It's a great question. The thing is without intention, I found an unmet need in the community. This is a niche. This is something that's not filled. We're not a clothing store. We're not a nail store that if the economy goes down, people aren't going to go to. We are a need. We're a necessity. So am I worried about if all of a sudden the economy tanks? No, because there's always going to be a need for a We Rock. 1 out of 5 kids are affected.
See, I think you're what's called an insulated industry. Okay, let me give you an example, okay? When people get excited, they play video games, okay? Because that's a form of reward. When people get depressed, they play video games to escape, okay? It's called an insulated industry, okay? When people are there to, they feel good, excited, they find a luxury to enhance their children, okay? You could be perceived, I know initially you won't see this as a luxury, but you also could be perceived as a necessity to educate, enhance, and take them to the next level. So when the economy's down, they're gonna go, oh my gosh, my kids can't go through this. I have to make sure that they're protected. So I would actually see a spike in your business when the economy goes down.
I completely agree with you because you know what? People aren't going to be taking their kids to Disneyland anymore. They're going to be taking them to We Rock the Spectrum where they can go on a zip line, a trampoline, and be exposed to passion and compassion for all children. We're there to educate. I'm there to educate the typical kids and the typical parents. I mean, that's what I love. That's what I teach my franchisees. Look, we all, as a typical parent, I walk around, okay, I'm living my life, I'm being a parent. But as a parent of a special needs child, well, let's face it, yours and my child, when they have a tantrum and they're upset about something, it's much different, especially at a young age, than a typical one. My son felt like he had snakes crawling on his body. So someone will come in the gym and go, why aren't you saying anything to that child who's having a fit on the ground? And I said, well, actually, that child has autism. Oh, well, what's that? Bam, it's an opportunity to educate.
Dina, did you ever have night terrors with your kids? Were they just out of nowhere at night started walking around and screaming?
Oh, my daughter. It was terrible. It's funny you said that. We were just talking about that the other day. Terrible.
It's terrifying, isn't it? I mean, as a parent going through this, and especially if your child's on the spectrum and going through that too, I mean, people that are listening to us on the other side and they have this situation, they associate right away. People who don't, it is another world you're living in. It really, and you know this, right?
Absolutely.
It's so nice that you're here. It really is. How much does it cost for someone to send their child to one of the
$12. $12.
A minute?
$12 for open play. They can stay as long as they'd like.
What?
And then, I don't know about you, but when my child was young, $12, my friend, $12. And then if they want to drop off their children, they can drop them off up to 3 hours at $12 an hour. Now, for me, my son still doesn't have a babysitter.
Amazing deal.
Yeah. But to have them in that environment, that safe sensory environment to drop off a child on the spectrum or typical developing is amazing. And
where do you want to see these facilities? Do you want to see them in malls? Do you want to see them in plazas? No, I don't know. You tell me. Where would you like to see? What's the best optimal location?
You know, what's funny is people call me all the time at corporate and say, oh, we were in Topanga Mall or we're in this mall. We have a great space for you. We love your idea. Sorry, no, I don't want them in the mall because I want people, well, first of all, I want to We Rock wherever it's needed. We just opened up in Sanford, North Carolina. Population 28,000 people.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah. In this rural, all historical town. So
using outside communities to populate the...
Absolutely. But the crazy thing is people are driving. People drove 3 hours. I was there for her grand opening. People drove 3 hours to be there. It's unbelievable because this is all specialized occupational therapy equipment. Now, a typical parent or a typical child goes, oh, woohoo, this is a great swing. They don't know it's $550 for it. But a child on the spectrum, when my son goes on it, no one knows he has autism in that gym. Nobody.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So 5 years from now, you are a mogul.
5 years from now, I'm still doing what I do because I will never stop. I love what I do. Every day I am seriously fueled by these children. I love being in the gym.